and they had met and spoken in the world beyond the world. The eeriness of it was still with her a day later, but it was colder comfort than she would have thought. He'd said grief was for the living, and it was so. He still was, but he was gone. The symbol of the high kingdom lay naked on his breast now, by his own long-standing command for the day of his death pyre. In its form, it was a knight's weapon, what they called a hand-and-a-half sword, 36 straight inches of tapering double-edged blade, a shallow crescent of guard, a long double-lobed hilt of silver-inlaid black staghorn, ending in a pommel of moonstone, gripped in antlers. Merely a sword of superlative quality, until you looked closely. Then there were patterns in the metal and crystal, not quite seen, that led the mind inward and inward. She'd heard her father say that the blade he had brought back from the quest might not be a thing of matter at all, as humankind understood the word. Instead, somehow an embodied concept, a thought in the mind of the goddess, one that could be touched in the light of common day, though that was a perilous thing, very dangerous indeed to anyone not of the royal kin. The pyre was a large one, set in a deep pit so that the top was breast-high to the ground about, with a narrow trench to provide draught. Mackenzies gave their dead to the fire, and the ashes to earth, for the most part, and the High King had long made clear that he wished that right. Dunbarstow was a new settlement that had spent hard labor clearing land here in the renascent wilderness that had once been California. And it was the eve of Beltana, a festival always celebrated with bonfires. There was any amount of dry timber on hand, even with the other funeral pyres that had been needed. A Dane, Aylward Mackenzie, came up next, to stand at the northern end of the pyre. He was commander of the High King's archers, a stocky, broad-shouldered man of about her father's age, with a square, withered face, oak-brown curls, and grey eyes. His voice held the Mackenzie lilt, stronger than hers. He was my chief and my friend from my earliest years, the brother of my heart, the one I chose, the one I followed on the quest in Nantucket. My father, Sam Aylward, taught us both the bow. This memory I give. When I first carried the silver arrow at the Lunasa Games, my da gave me a nod and a hand on the shoulder I prized more than the arrow itself. Then da turned and cuffed him upside the head, and said he was a natural. He'd been slacking on his practice, or he'd have done better than third place. He grinned, that smile that could bring the birds from the trees, and said, A Dane has the blessing of you of the steady hand, as much as I, Sam. And he works harder at it. He earned it. It's his. Ochone, my chief, would that I could have died for you. But I'll look to the lass and Prince John, and we sons and Phelan, so long as a man may, I promise you that. We'll have a mug together and talk it over. In the land of summer. The head man of Dunbarstow was Oak Barstow Mackenzie, a tall, rangy, greying man, one of the few here who'd been born before the change, though he'd been a child of 9 and couldn't remember it beyond fragments. He'd been first armsman of the clan Mackenzie for many years. When he laid it down, he'd led a party of pioneers south to found Dunbarstow, including many of his own children and grandchildren.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.